Welcome to 2025, and SEC Sports brings in the calendar year with a Suburban East Conference girls basketball duel. It's the White Bear Lake area Bears halfway through the regular season at 7-6 against the Mounds Mustangs, hoping to start a new win streak. They're at 7-3. I'm Mike Pete, and here I am all by myself talking to myself. That's Chaos Theory. White Bear Lake completed the non-conference portion of the season over the holidays and last weekend at the Southern Mini Hoops Fest, one of the breakdown events. Actually, they took part in a few of the breakdown invitationals, nearly getting Wyzetta, but coming up a point short. Recently defeating Stewartville 62-60. Stewartville reaching the Class 3A state tournament the last 2 years. But their roster looks a little different than our last visit a few weeks ago. First, let's take a look at the conference standings. You can see just how tough it has been for the Suburban East. Eastridge leading the way at 5-0, but they have not won a game outside of their conference, so they have scheduled tough, though, as they typically do. White Bear Lake, even though they're 2-3, expect them to be a contender as they typically are in Section 4-4A, and Stillwater at 4-1, although they've suffered a couple of defeats in non-conference play as well. So Section 4-4A pretty wide open, and you saw Mounds trailing White Bear Lake. They're in Section 5. Maple Grove has the inside track. Here are the players to watch as we get ready for this one. The starters have been introduced. Elise Dieterle, the Stillwater transfer, averaging nearly 15 points per game, but she has yet to record a 20-point game this season. And for Mounds View, Maddie Schneider, their leading scorer at 11.9. One of their new faces that has helped Mounds View, at least in the early part of the season. They won their first 6 games before losing 3 in a row. The 7th grader, J.C. Helmer, the primary ball handler, the point guard of the team. Mounds View, they haven't had a whole lot of recent history in girls basketball in terms of records and playoff appearances. And we'll talk more about these two as we make our way through. White Bear Lake wearing the home black. Of course, last time we were here, they won a thrilling overtime affair against Elk River. Addie Post hit a buzzer beater at the end of regulation. And it will be a battle between her and Helmer, the ball handlers. Addie logged over 100 assists last year, just one of 6 players to do so for White Bear Lake. Alexis Foley, who's on the coaching staff, did so twice. So that may be the battle to watch outside of the leading scorers, Post and Helmer. Here is Helmer with the ball. It's Mounds View with the rock. Lost 3 in a row, but won in the most recent outing. 3 is pure. Helmer to Nora Schmidt to get us started. Mounds View with the takeaway. Maddie Schneider finds Nora Schmidt. I saw Mounds View earlier in the season. They played Eastridge. That was one of the games where J.C. Helmer was not in the lineup. At the time, J.C. was participating in a Team USA junior softball engagement, which tells you the potential and the upside across multiple sports that lies within the 7th grader who you see on the screen. And it showed in the score. Mounds View had a hard time keeping up with Eastridge without their primary ball handler, and we'll have to see what the second meeting produces. And we'd like to welcome all of you watching on SEC and those of you tuning in from 9 North as well. White Bear Lake ball, just over a minute has elapsed in this Suburban East Conference tilt. We already had a big game wrapping up earlier, as we'll have a foul on Ivy Nystrom trying to bring the pressure up on Helmer. Minnehaha Academy and Providence Academy played earlier this evening, part of a girls-boys doubleheader. Providence Academy winning that one 99-78 as you look at the starters for the two sides. Here's Dieterle, again coming over from Stillwater, where she had played for 3 years. Not often where White Bear Lake and the Suburban East schools played the transfer game like that, but Dieterle knocks down the mid-range J to get White Bear Lake on the board. Mounds View already tapping their bench. Dieterle take for the foul. And we've got free throws for Mounds View. That is Noah Schmidt. Schmidt averaging 11.6 per game this season, the only Mounds View player with 20 or more in a game. So don't expect a whole lot in the way of explosive scores. Here's a catch and shoot three going cross court. Abby O'Brien comes up short, or long in that case. Either way, it doesn't go in. Schmidt from the key. Finds Taylor Whitehill. Motors her way to the rim, and she'll shoot two. Whitehill on the season, 5.3 a game as we take another look. Not much of a bump. From there, maybe O'Brien, you could say, was straight up, but I'm up here, not down there. Mounds View won this meeting a year ago, the most recent meeting that is. These two play each other twice each season in the Suburban East in separate sections, so they don't have a ton of postseason history. And Whitehill blanks, but the rebound goes to Helmer. Did she take a bunny hop? She did. (4-2), still early. Mounds View with another stop. Schmidt with the bounce pass. Lily Bryan was obscured by Manier, and White Bear Lake will take over. There's Jeremy Post, the longtime head coach at White Bear Lake. He's been at it for quite some time as Addie Post goes down court, hooks up with Maddie Thompson, who's starting tonight. She draws the foul, will shoot two. Thompson getting a little more time as a result of the injury to Chloe Taco. She's averaging 5.7 a game. First trip to the line for White Bear Lake. That Mounds View victory that we spoke of, well, here's another look at the last foul call. Then went on Helmer. And free throws not going down, but I was going to say that victory by Mounds View last season snapped a lengthy drought in that particular matchup. Helmer. Short range shot bounced off the rim. Manier got the board. Manier out at the elbow. O'Brien lines up the three and connects. Abby O'Brien, the UNI soccer commit. Usually good for a three or two. Had a triumphant section playoff run a year ago to get White Bear Lake to state. Schmidt, nowhere to go, locates Helmer. 8 to shoot, Helmer. Guarded closely by Thompson. Into the lane, Whitehill goes, she'll shoot 2. Although she did blank her last time up. And now she's on the board. Mounds View still has a few non-conference games left. And we'll dive into some of them in more detail a little later in this broadcast as we get some substitutions being made. But looking at their schedule, it is tough to fathom the Mustangs as a major threat to Maple Grove in Section 5-4A. That's not to say it can't happen. But the strength of schedule just doesn't seem to indicate that is a significant possibility. White Bear Lakes, touch 3, offline. Dieterle got the O-board, can't get the Plinko bounce. Another rebound goes to White Bear Lake. As you know, shot clock goes to 20, but Menier won't wait that long. That one, she's wide open for the tread. And Menier makes it 8-6. White Bear Lake over Mounds View. Couple of O-boards, leads to a second chance 3. And that is how they classify it. No, there isn't a third or fourth chance in this sport. Helmer with the answer. You bet! It's rare, although more common these days, to see a 7th grader getting a starting nod in a 4A team. But that's the case with Helmer, and I'd be hard-pressed to argue against that inclusion. White Bear Lake, errant pass. Scooped up by the Mustangs. A straightaway 3, bounces off the heel. Whitehill, got it. Her first field goal. And Mounds View up by 3, 11-8. With 12:40 left in the first half. We had a late start because of Staff Appreciation Night, and no, that was not a conspiracy to delay the game, but it's a big honor as Elise Dieterle scores on the turnaround. It's a big honor for the parents and staffers to get their plaudits. But we appreciate those who waited a few extra minutes to join us for this broadcast. Here's an elbow J from Mounds View. Setley can't knock it down. Rebound Menier. 1-point margin. The lob from post to Dieterle going across. Gets the hook to fall. Dieterle with a quick 6. Dribble drive, count it. Maddie Schneider's on the board. And she'll have a chance for 3. Schneider averaging 11.9, but has not scored more than 19 in a game this season. Again, just one player on either side has put up 20 or more in a game, and that was 21. Mounds View takes a timeout after completing the 3-point play. 14-13 our score. Mounds View over White Bear Lake. 11:42 left in the first half, so still a whole lot of time to sort this one out. But continuing on our Staff Appreciation Night, there was a ceremony between the end of the JV game and the start of the varsity game. Every player and student manager Madeline Castro brought on staffers. They nominated the impact players, if you will. We talk about that in a basketball context, but these are students. As Jeremy Post has a word with his group. He's made a few state tournaments over the years. That is Dave Bratland, the head coach of Mounds View. He's been at it for a few years. Mounds View has gone through a couple of coaching changes. At the Open, I mentioned their recent history while lacking in state tournament prowess. A few years ago, they did witness a record holder, the all-time leading scorer in Lindsey Becker, who is now a senior at Concordia St. Paul. And if you go way back, Mounds View, home to a Miss Basketball winner, Stacy Fields, 1992. Fields is her maiden name. Her current surname is Janicki, and if that name sounds familiar, well, White Bear Lake had a couple of Janickis come through the basketball program in Jack and Ella. But right now, Taylor Whitehill is focused on bringing a victory to Mounds View, and the scoop and score to go a long way to achieve that aim. Whitehill following the timeout, giving Mounds View a 16-12 lead. O'Brien bounce pass and a grab. That will be a foul on Mounds View, but fun little piece of trivia. Jack, of course, in his sophomore season at Wisconsin, and Ella finished up her college career. O'Brien under duress, but recovers in time to find a Chloe Tyson. Almost left the verb out, but I think you know where I was going with that. 16-14, it's been tight from the start. Between a couple of longtime conference rivals. Over the last few years, White Bear Lake had controlled the series pretty handily. Last year, in that second meeting, that was the closest in some time. Here's Helmer, who got the pick. Setley used up the dribble, finds Whitehill. A carrying violation. White Bear Lake looking to make the three ball work again. Ball went off the backboard but did not go over it. Although Mounds View got the rebound anyway, but that is an important distinction. Here's a touch three. Maddie Schneider with the first tray. Post. The lob. Cross court. Intercepted by Schneider. Zips it to Helmer. Who didn't quite have the best angle going up. And a missed chance there for Mounds View, although this is their largest lead of the game. Post. Through the lane. A little too strong. Ryan with the board. Helmer. Schneider now. Finds Nystrom. Nystrom finds Helmer again after getting in a bit of a trouble. Rebound tipped. Still up for grabs. We'll have a tie-up. And the arrow favors Mounds View from the looks of it. We are situated behind the indicator light. 8:51 left in the first half. Schneider. Schmidt thought about it, driving kick, three ball, short. Unforced error on White Bear Lake. gives Mounds View another chance. If you were with us in our last visit, White Bear Lake did trail Elk River by 11 before coming back to win, so this is nothing new for them. Quick release three, almost goes down, but cannot find the hole. Manier gets the board. O'Brien finds Tyson, three is short. Moving into position for the rebound was Lily Ryan. Elmer to Schmidt. Liza Muschel, number one's got it. Schneider can't convert the floater. O'Brien backing off. Bounce pass. A lot of traffic near the key, or the high post, I should say. O'Brien finds Thompson, but the three clanks off the heel. This game moving right along as Helmer changes direction. Touch three from the corner is short. Both teams having a tough time finding those threes as of late. White Bear Lake on the run. Thompson to Tyson. White Bear Lake will take another timeout. Their first of the game. We talked about the season series between these two and how Mounds View was on the wrong end of most of them until their most recent. As you can see, White Bear Lake had owned this series for the last several years, going back to the COVID season. And that 23-24 campaign, White Bear Lake won the first meeting by 19. Mounds View got him the second time. And this year, hard to say how a lot of these conference series will play out, because 4A as a whole taking a step back, a lot more parity than what we're used to. Eden Prairie number one. I don't remember a time when the Eagles had the number one ranking in the state, at least not since I started covering it. Whoever gets through just might be a team that goes on a hot streak. And White Bear Lake, again, they nearly had Wyzetta's number, but couldn't sustain their lead in the second half of that one. Here's a three for Mounds View, and it's short. Here's Maddie Schneider. White Bear Lake, entry feed to Dealey. Goes back out to post, her three is short. Rebound will go to Muschel. And a bunny hop. We'll hand the ball back to White Bear Lake, 6:07 left in the first half. Dieterle receives the entry feed. Tough fadeaway. Couldn't break free of her defender. And Mounds View with another stop. They have held an advantage throughout this first half. Muschel thought about it, fires, bullseye. Mounds View getting some production out of their bench. White Bear Lake called for the hold. And they will assess that foul. to Gabriella Hartzell, number 11. That's not right. Hartzell's not on the floor. That was, okay, I stand corrected. That was a foul on Setley for Mounds View. I got my teams crossed up for a moment. That makes more sense. White Bear Lake ball, 5:20 left in the first half. Another knock, and we'll do this again. Setley will be called for her second foul. Trying to make a play and tip that entry pass intended for Dieterle. So the shot clock resets to 20, and White Bear Lake will side out again. Dieterle looking for the friendly bounce, won't get it. And Helmer strolls up court. Now strolls into the lane, but missed the jumper. Post. Driving kick, 3 on the way. It's there. Post with the dime, Tyson with the triple. Jump ball after the block by Dieterle. She wanted to travel, but got a hand on it. Helmer gets the inbound in. Now Schmidt out to Schneider. The runner won't go, but she'll go to the line for 2. Schneider's 6 points. Looking to add 2 more. And does. Mounds View now 6 of 9 from the free throw line. White Bear Lake with a big answer. Ties in again, drains her second triple. And I've got her at 10. As we approach the 4-minute mark, Mounds View looking for 3 the old-fashioned way, and Nora Schmidt makes the play. Schmidt, the only Mounds View player to reach 20 in a game, and that happened in the victory over Spring Lake Park. Mounds View keeping a small edge over White Bear Lake as they convert the 3-point play, 27-22. Dieterle up top. Trying to run and give and go. Mounds View snuffing out the play. They force the tie-up. But White Bear Lake held the arrow. Or was it Mounds View who held the arrow? It was Mounds View. They had the arrow light pointing the wrong way. Or White Bear Lake, yes. They had the arrow pointing to Mounds View. And White Bear Lake takes advantage of the situation on the inbound play from post to Thompson. Maddie's on the board. Another drive, another finish for Maddie Schneider, and she has 10. Bears circling the perimeter. Post, bounce pass. A foul as Thompson tried to take it in. Peterson missing the front end as we get a few more subs. She blanks, hasn't scored a lot this season, but a lane violation will give Peterson a do-over. Or I should say Thompson a do-over. Mounds View jumped the line. Can't enter the lane until the ball is released. But it doesn't matter as Thompson misses the second attempt. The free throw discrepancy is favoring Mounds View so far. 3 from the wing. Off the rim, O'Brien gets that rebound without much fuss. Thompson lobbing it for Dieterle, up and in. White Bear Lake trying to pick up some interior scoring. 29-26, step back 3, short. And a chance for White Bear Lake to tie it if they want. They haven't led since 4-2. Post for the tie. Short. And Setley gets the rebound. Post going to Wisconsin Oshkosh for basketball. Helmer. Around the baseline. 3 ball off the heel. O'Brien with the skip. Dieterle again. Goes across and will shoot 2. Had her back turned, so tried the turnaround move to get a better angle. Hasn't announced her college plans yet, at least not to my knowledge. But giving White Bear Lake a big source of offense when there were some uncertainties about who would shoulder the load, with Jordan Schmidtdeal now playing at Northern Michigan. Schmidtdeal did pay a visit over the holidays. Like so many others, well connected in the girls basketball world. A split makes it a 2-point game. Schmidt into the lane, but nowhere to go. Ties in with the strip. White Bear Lake and Tyre take the lead. It will be the first since 4-2. Addie Post mishandled the dribble. And Moundsy will hold the arrow. .110 on the clock. Live coverage on SCC Sports. We'll be with you again on Thursday when Mahtomedi boys basketball hosts St. Thomas Academy Metro East battle. Schmidt to Whitehill. Over to Schneider, 45 seconds, 10 on the shot clock. Helmer to Whitehill, 5 to shoot. Mounds View goes, but that's going to be a shot clock violation as the runner from Schneider didn't touch rim. And with 35.1 on the clock, White Bear Lake can hold for the last shot. White Bear Lake keeping it close. Can they adhere to their style one more time before the half ends? Dieterle getting lots of coverage, trying to wedge a way through, draws the foul. She was calling for it. I'll say this much, she's got plenty of confidence because that is not easy to do when you have all that traffic surrounding you. Dieterle and White Bear Lake as a whole struggling to knock down their free throws. Dieterle has been consistent throughout the year. No 20-point games, but she has hit double digits. And she will do so again. In every game, that is. 4.6, 29-28, Mounds View. If they played this wisely, can get one more shot off. Helmer. Three ball. Well, they did play it wisely. Lily Ryan's attempt is an air ball, but we are at halftime in a neck-and-neck engagement. Mounds View leads White Bear Lake 29-28. Mounds View looking to start a new win streak. White Bear Lake hoping to log their third straight win and give themselves some positive vibes as they begin the second half of their regular season journey. We'll be back with first half highlights and analysis. You're watching high school girls basketball on SEC Sports.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help, just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. Now imagine sharing the joy of adopting with your friends. Seeing the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pets and share with 5 of their friends who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org to learn more.
My 15-year-old son, Ethan, and I had a fun and relaxing morning. We returned home, and Ethan walked to his best friend's house an hour later. I heard the ambulance scream by the street, carrying my beautiful boy. Ethan was shot in the head in his best friend's house with an unsecured gun. He had 0 chance of survival. The father, the gun owner, he stored his 3 guns and bullets in a shoebox.
How do you feel?
That has to be the most horrific experience that a human could ever have.
David, would you give any advice?
First thing you do is not keep your ammunition with your weapons, and that your weapons need to be locked at all times.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused.
A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out that self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and your mental health.
Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was like a whole range of emotions, joy, sadness. There's gonna be obstacles. You're gonna feel like, why is it happening to me? And you're gonna realize you're not the only one. There's no perfect way. Your own way will be the perfect way. You're gonna protect it with all your might. Just seeing him happy, it's just joy, you know? I look through his eyes, I've envisioned like a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. Oh man, he can smile now. I'm happy because he's advancing in life, you know, he's growing. Being a young dad, it's not giving up, it's shifting. My life is now devoted to his life.
A glimpse at future generations, perhaps, who may take the court someday as high school players. But right now, providing a little halftime entertainment. High school girls basketball, White Bear Lake and Mounds View. Mustangs lead by 1, 29-28. Neither team led by more than 5 at any point in the contest. As we take a look at first half highlights. And what we have seen so far is an interior battle with Dieterle, who has 10 points, and an outside flare from Chloe Tyson, who has a couple of threes with 10. Going up against two of the big names from Mounds View. Maddie Schneider leading the way with 10. Nora Schmidt with 7. Stats across the board, somewhat even. Mounds View with a slight edge in bench scoring, 9-3 in that respect. But the Mustangs hold the edge in free throws. And when you have a tight game like this, it comes down to minutia. No shortage of plays. There's a couple examples of the three-point game we were discussing, in particular with Tyson. So a lot of varying trends coming into focus. No clear advantage one way or the other. As we take a look at some of the halftime numbers, Mounds View with an edge in free throws, 7 of 10 to 2 of 8, and that could loom large in a one-point game. We'll have to see what the second half brings. And three-pointers, Mounds View has been going outside a little more, perhaps to counter the interior game for White Bear Lake and Dieterle in particular. So we'll have to see what wins out in this second half. But right now, a lot of competing narratives. One will emerge, at least one will emerge with the victory. We'll find out who that is in just a few minutes. Second half coming up. This is high school girls basketball on SEC Sports.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire. How to control the flames. What to do with hot coals. How to secure your chains. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
That first time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. I was already trying to change my perspective of life and really just be a father figure that I never had. Being present is the most important part. I'm still growing every day. Becoming a better version of myself. To be the better mirror for my son. I mean, he's just grown. He's becoming his own person. Man, first I saw him dance, bro, he brings the vibes, you know what I'm saying? He brings the party no matter what. He really a definition of like why he loves somebody. And I love him to the death of me.
I'm ready to share my story.
To empower others to seek treatment.
To show others they are not alone.
I am ready to share my story.
To help others change their journey.
Now, I can't stop sharing my story.
Let's change our epilepsy story.
Let's change our epilepsy story.
Let's change our epilepsy story.
For more information, visit changeourstory.org.
Second half, moments away on SCC Sports, our first broadcast of the 2025 calendar year, but rest assured it won't be our last. We've got a whole lot of year left to cover, but we certainly hope you had a great holiday session, and now we are back to normal. Schools are back from winter break. High schools anyway, colleges still on theirs. We are ready to get this one back underway. Addie Post certainly is ready. And she zips her way to the rack. And Zip might be putting it lightly. First field goal, Addie doesn't score a ton on this team, but she is the facilitator and she can make some big plays as White Bear Lake takes their first lead since 4-2 early in this one. Mounds View answers back with Ivy Nystrom. 31 all. Post. Cut off at the high post. Now O'Brien maintains the dribble. Thompson guarded heavily, post. Nystrom trying to poke the ball from a grip. She'll go cross court. Thompson didn't have the shooting space. Moves in from the baseline and will shoot two. She blanked her last time at the line. Thompson, the junior. White Bear Lake again looking for their third straight win. They beat Centennial and Stewartville. Centennial game taking place on Friday, and then Stewartville was part of the Southern Mini Hoops Fest. It's all conference games the rest of the way for White Bear Lake. As Thompson will take the split, and that includes 2 games with Stillwater. They have yet to play the Ponies, and 1 more meeting with Eastridge. Those will be the likely candidates to get out of Section 4. Mounds View can't hit the 3. Rebound Dieterle. Mustangs won the first 6 games. Dieterle gets a step on her assignment, Lily Ryan, and will go back to the line. But free throws have not been friendly to White Bear Lake, just 4 of 11. If you go by QRF as Dieterle is at the line, we'll take another look here. Roseville ahead of White Bear Lake, but it's the coaches who will seed, as they typically do in the 4A schools. And White Bear Lake did lose their first meeting to Roseville. So the Raiders could be a spoiler of sorts. Another split for White Bear Lake. They're just 5 of 13. They're up by 2, but like we said, all those missed free throws may play a part as this game continues. Kick ball. It will stay with White Bear Lake. O'Brien inside to Dieterle. A sea of white. The bunny goes off the cylinder. Mustangs looking to gallop, stride their way inside. That's not an option, so Helmer takes the elbow J, can't get the roll. Post. Got bumped, and that will be a foul, the 4th on Mounds U. Just 2 minutes and 15 seconds into this frame. Post through one defender, through a second, kicks back out. O'Brien for 3, short. Dieterle left alone after winning the battle for the board. Actually more like leaking ahead as opposed to being left alone. Either way, she'll take a wide open look for 2 any day. Largest lead of the game for the Bears, and free throws coming for Ivy Nystrom of the Mustangs. Nystrom averaging 4.6 per game. Mounds U's most recent outing was a 54-44 win over Duluth East. Played it close with Stillwater. Dropped that one by 3. The Suburban East is at a stage where they may not be an undefeated conference champion. In years past, it was a pretty competitive group. One year there was a 4-way tie for first. And then Stillwater ran the tables for a couple of years. Perhaps the most notable win in that 6-game win streak to start the season for Mounds U was Shakopee. Right now, White Bear Lake looking for another bucket. O'Brien can't give it to them. Her 3 is short. But once again, White Bear Lake weaving through for a putback opportunity. This time, Maren Peterson, the beneficiary. Dieterle got free, and now Peterson. So a couple of second chance looks. Helmer, swish. Timeout Mounds View, 37-34. Helmer with the bucket, but I think Dave Bratlin wants to talk about the rebounding as of late that has favored White Bear Lake. As we have noted, White Bear Lake will play conference rivals the rest of the way, getting through the non-conference portion of the season. Park of Cottage Grove, Cretin-Durham Hall on tap. Stillwater, the first of 2 meetings there. That could be a big one. January 21st, the rematch with Roseville. And January 28th, that will be another notable contest with Eastridge. Last time we were here, we highlighted White Bear Lake's run in the 2010s, at least winning section titles. That included 3 in a row. And that run to the championship game in 2010. Made it back in 22 and last year. Mounds View called for traveling. Mounds View back in 92 came close, but lost to Burnsville. They have not reached the state tournament since 99. Here's a deep three for O'Brien. Just nicked the front of the iron. That one a little more on target from Schneider. Rebound secured by Nystrom. Mounds View trying again. Schmidt offline. And the Mustangs trying to generate some three-pointers. They've had a few go down, but as the old adage goes, you live by the three, you die by the three. It's great when it's working, frustrating when it isn't. Dieterle cutting off the lane. The ball is up for grabs for a moment. Tyson tracking it down. So Dieterle's interior presence altering Mounds View's attacking attempt. Post. Lobs it. Three from Tyson is long. Helmet to Nystrom. Bounce pass. Mounds View executes for number 14. Avery Lenore. Thompson to Dieterle. Once again, guarded heavily, and this time Mounds View takes it away and will take it all the way. Maddie Schneider with the first bucket of the second half. Mounds View retakes the lead, 38-37. Post. Driving kick. Tyson for three. Short post. Picks it up. Tough shot. Nystrom all over her. Schmidt. Can't get the finish this time. Tried to force it, I think. Dieterle from the high post into the low post and lays it in. White Bear Lake will use a timeout. Both have a few remaining. 12-12 left in the second half, and Dieterle with 15 points. The leading scorer for White Bear Lake, but again, has not recorded a 20-point game this season. We'll see if that changes tonight. Second half so far an extension of what we have watched unfold in the first half. The long distance game hasn't favored either side here in the second half. White Bear Lake fared a little better percentage-wise in the first half, but the inside game, at least for White Bear Lake, has been their stronghold. And for Mounds View, I think we're seeing just how much of a difference someone like Helmer makes. She's the primary ball handler. And another unforced error on Mounds View. Without her, we saw Mounds View struggle, and that was against Eastridge, a team that has a good level of talent on their roster, led by Vienna Murray. Ties it open. That three-point stroke hasn't favored her as of late. Offensive rebound, post fakes, but she took a step before dribbling, and the officials caught that as well. Ultimately, it's their ruling that matters, but I saw her make that move. It's the bane of every ball handler, every attacker. You get a little antsy seeing that lane, seeing that gap. So we're still at a 1-point contest. And will stay that way as Schmidt is called for traveling. O'Brien. Now Menier has it at the high post. Handoff to O'Brien. Recovers. Elmer snatches it from Menier's grasp. Touch three from the wing. Offline. Menier can't handle it. And White Bear Lake lets a fast break opportunity go uncashed. 10:39 left in the second half. Big night of basketball. In fact, the busiest night of the season so far. 151 games on tap. And no weather worries, so we'll get all of them in. Here's a kick to the corner. And a swift baseline move for Taylor Whitehill. Her first points of the second half. And Mounds up 40-39. Tyson goes back. White Bear Lake looking for the answer, but Menier can't finish the slash. White Bear Lake zoning up. Moundsview looking for the three. All of a jump ball. And the arrow favors White Bear Lake. Couple of big tilts with section and state tournament seeding. O'Brien tilts a three in White Bear Lake's column. It's been a while since we've seen the three-point stroke. That could be a big one. Dieterle thought she had a block for a moment, but we have a foul. And this one was on Thompson prior to Dieterle's move. So just a side out for Moundsview. But no stop for White Bear Lake yet. Spin move and staying on the pivot, drawing the foul. As Avery Lenore, she'll go to the line, and we've got some scores. One that is a bit surprising. Park of Cottage Grove leading Eastridge 27-25 as of the last update. So things in the Suburban East could get a little more volatile. Lenore this season, coming into this game, had scored a total of 2 points. She's going to do a little better than that tonight. Just the sophomore. But she makes it an even Steven 42-42. Dieterle, straightaway three is there. That's not a primary tool in her proverbial toolbox, but it gives White Bear Lake the lead. The seesaw persists. Mounds View trying a quick thread inside, and they can't get it to go. Elsewhere, it looks like Wayzata is going to score a big win over Minnetonka. The Lake Conference, not the stronghold that it was, at least in terms of dominance. And we'll have a timeout. 8:34 left in the second half, and it'll give us a chance to share a few more updates from around the Metro. 4-0 leading Benilde St. Margaret's. That was a big 3A game. Those two in the same section and in the same conference, so they'll play each other at least twice. And it's a final. Wayzata beats Minnetonka 63-49. Wayzata did get one on Minnetonka last year, and that could be an interesting takeaway as we give you a dual vantage point from the two benches. 45-42. It's been a tight one all the way through. So Wayzata, they've been looking to get out of Section 6 for years, have not been able to do so against Hopkins. Maybe this is the year, but we'll have to see. We won't decide any state tournament participants until we get to early March. Dieterle back inside, cut off. O'Brien, 3-ball, off the backboard. Swooping in was Thompson, and she'll shoot 2. White Bear Lake, while this game has been close throughout the duration, it does feel like White Bear Lake is a little bit quicker in getting after those rebounds. As you see at the tail end of the last play. Thompson makes both. White Bear Lake 7 of 15. They lead 47-42. Their largest. Neither team leading by more than 5. Schmidt over to Whitehill, finds Lenore, and Avery giving Mounds View a lift off the bench. Dieterle, coast to coast, count it! And with that bucket, Elise Dieterle has just netted her first 20-point game of the season, just the second White Bear Lake player to reach that mark. Found a hole, and that was all she wrote. And a 3-point play to boot. 50-44. Dieterle's previous best was 19 in the first meeting with Roseville. Marquee figure at Stillwater for the last year or so, looking to bring that presence over to White Bear Lake, and is doing so in a big way with that interior game. That is where White Bear Lake has found an edge. 7 to shoot. Whitehill stumbled and traveled. This may be a turning point that favors White Bear Lake. Post off the screen, off a double screen. O'Brien inside to Dieterle. Mounds View, they have put a lot of bodies on Dieterle in the low post to try to disrupt her cadence. But as we've seen Elise Finding other ways, fakes, moves in and scores again, plus the foul. "13 points in the second half for Dieterle, 23 overall. Last year, Dieterle had a role, but Amber Scalia, Amy Thompson, and others have been notable figures. White Bear Lake pulling away. Peterson drills a three from the left wing. Largest lead of the game. White Bear Lake has scored the last 8. .608 to go. Whitehill, bounce pass, fouled. White Bear Lake had 3 to give. Schmidt cut off, but they had help on the weak side. Lily Ryan gets on the board. Mounds View needed that one to stay in contention. Post. They go back. It's Tyson for 3. Hits the back iron. Dieterle. Oh my goodness! Dieterle with a circus shot. And she'll circle another trip to the free throw line. Dieterle didn't play last season. At least for the Ponies, that is. But she is playing big here. 26. Found a seam or two in the first half, and she is built on that in a gigantic way. And what may be the clinching move, the clinching run for White Bear Lake. 11-2. Trying to bank it was Nora Schmidt. Mustangs haven't had an answer for Dieterle in the second half. White Bear Lake trying to feed the hot hand, but the entry pass was tipped. Mounds View with the steal and a blocking foul. White Bear Lake now with 1 more to give. 4:54 left in the second. Catch and shoot 3. Off the heel. Rebound. Turns into a scrum. Jump ball. Mounds View with the arrow. I was looking at Dieterle's numbers. The most recent season she played, 22-23, didn't play last year. I presume because of the transfer rule. Dieterle averaged 9.8. Mounds View scores off the inbound. Schmidt from Helmer. We'll have a timeout. 4:43 to go in the second. Not a done deal. But White Bear Lake with the upper hand. And again, Dieterle averaging 9.7 a year ago, and who knows how she would have fared if she had played last year, but a massive presence she is providing tonight. Mounds View As we noted, they have a few more non-conference games remaining. Minneapolis Southwest and Osseo, both of those should be winnable. Osseo in their section 5 4A. We are seeing a lot of wild results in the Suburban East. Elsewhere, Prior Lake holding off Lakeville South 56-42. Section 2, historically the group of death in Class 4A. And as of now, could be Eden Prairie's to lose. Back to action after the timeout. Again, not solidified for White Bear Lake. Mounds View, they need a couple of stops though. White Bear Lake looking to find Dieterle again, but Post overthrows her. And that's the stop we were talking about. Helmer goes left and right. And Mounds View swings it to the left side. Offensive foul. Or was it? Yes, illegal screen on Nystrom. Not what Mounds View was looking for. And as you know, offensive fouls are team control, so no free throws awarded. Now Mounds View trying to get the full court press in. Post breaks. Dieterle for three. Went for the home run play. Not sure you needed to do that. Up by 10. I'd say if you don't have a clean look, work the clock. Mounds View drains a three from the left wing. It's Maddie Schneider. And that's a notable swing. Dieterle collects, was grabbed upon reception. And because of the foul tally, Dieterle is going to go to the line. Double bonus the rest of the way. And a chance for Dieterle to add to her totals. Again, her most recent season, she averaged 9.7. That was 2 years ago. And according to our numbers, this is a new career high for Dieterle. Her best performance was 22 as a member of the Ponies. She's got 28 by our count. Takeaway for the Bears as they anticipate the pass. O'Brien fakes. White Bear Lake, they don't need to do anything silly now. Tyson goes up, can't get the finish. 3 minutes to go. White Bear Lake still has a foul to give. Another three for Mounds View. This one off the heel. Dieterle gets the rebound. Another dose of interior mastery on the part of Dieterle tonight. O'Brien for the dagger. Bullseye. Abby's third three-pointer. Post with the assist. And White Bear Lake is just about cinched this one. O'Brien moves in for the block. Now Mounds View goes to the outside. The three from Schmidt rattles out. Dieterle fueling a major second half run, which will secure White Bear Lake's third straight win. It was close, and then Dieterle added that extra dimension. And Mounds View just doesn't have, at least not in this meeting, a figure to contain Dieterle. They sent multiple bodies on her, but she found a way through. She'll be called for the offensive foul there, but I don't think that's going to be a big problem here with 147. If this were the pros, you still might have a pathway, but at the high school level with a 35-second shot clock, there's just not enough possessions remaining. Mounds not giving up on the 3 ball, but it's just not working out for them. White Bear Lake used up their last foul to give on the offensive foul by Dieterle, so they will go to the line, Mounds View that is, for a 1-and-1. That will give them a chance to pick up a couple of points with the clock stopped, but only 1:31 to go. Lily Ryan, 2 points. You just don't see too many comebacks of this margin. A lot has to go your way as White Bear Lake takes a timeout. White Bear Lake getting their free throw numbers up, 11 of 19. Still not a great percentage, but faring much better in the second half. And Mounds View 12 of 16, but the story is Elise Dieterle with a career high 28 points. Here's where you'll find us on Thursday. As we noted, we'll be at Matabinai boys basketball. The Zephyrs take on the St. Thomas Academy Cadets. Next week, we have a rare Monday afternoon game with White Bear Lake and Roseville boys hockey. And I'm guessing that might have to do with rink availability. Of course, high schools don't own rinks. And then on January 17th, we will be back here at the Galvin Court for Stillwater and White Bear Lake boys basketball. A few years ago, those two had a memorable section battle that was won by White Bear Lake. Part of their first visit to state in a long time. That's coming up live on SCC. We hope you will join us on those dates. 1 timeout left for Mounds View, 2 for White Bear Lake, and the Bears really just have to glide to the finish without doing anything weird or harrowing. As Ivy Nystrom is called for her 5th foul, so she'll finish with 3 points. Abby O'Brien to the line, the UNI soccer commit. Played on the White Bear Lake squad that was #1 for most of the season in Class 3A and then got upset in sections. Just a reminder of the unpredictability that is high school sports, and I've been talking about that all season here in Class 4A. By the way, Eastridge came back to beat Park of Cottage Grove 67-47, so one less wild and wacky result. As O'Brien goes up to 11 with those free throws. Dieterle with the block and the steal against Nora Schmidt. An exclamation point on a triumphant, celebratory, commendable evening for the senior, who has not decided on a college yet. Now Addie Post will go to the line. Again, going to Wisconsin Oshkosh. Another notable score, Orono gets the win over Benilde St. Margaret's. They took girls basketball by storm when they beat Minnetonka, and they haven't let off since. Their one loss, I believe, was to Providence Academy. They have fared well since then, as Post makes both free throws. White Bear Lake getting on Mounds View in just about every aspect of the second half. And Mounds View played well, but really did not have a counter for the inside game that Dieterle in particular brought. Thompson called for the foul, so we'll have a couple free throws here for Liza Muschel. Academic with a 14-point margin, less than a minute to go. And a big night in girls basketball with some statement results. Of course, Orono, Benilde, St. Margaret's will play each other a second time. And a lot of those other matchups we highlighted have a second meeting awaiting them. Muschel gets 2 of 3. And that will put her up to 5. And Dieterle's foul. Elise Dieterle making the most of her one season in a Bears uniform. Transferring from Stillwater, like we said. The transfer portals, quote unquote, doesn't impact the Suburban East as much as some other schools, but Dieterle giving White Bear Lake that X factor that graduated when Jordan Schmidtdeal received her diploma at the end of last season. And Elise Dieterle with her first ever 30-point game. She won't end on the career leaderboards at White Bear Lake, but this is going to be a banner-worthy performance, one that she will put on the highlight reel. Well, no one's perfect. Winced after mishandling the pass, but she'll check out and receive a salutation from the White Bear Lake bench and the rest of the home faithful. Her first ever 30-point game. Second half points for Elise Dieterle, turning a close one into a convincing win. White Bear Lake etching their third straight as they start a new win streak against Mounds View and extend their current win streak to 3. 69-55 the final. Elise Dieterle, the woman of the hour here at Galvin Court. 30 points. Entering tonight, only one White Bear Lake player had reached 20 in a game. And Dieterle besting her previous career mark of 22. I'm sure there was a lot of patience having to wait a year to suit up. But she's got to be feeling pretty giddy. And here's a few of her highlights, because when you score 30, yeah, you're going to be the headline. And as you can see, it was the interior penetration. She found some opportunities in the first half and then exploded in the second. That was one big play, leaking ahead on an offensive rebound. And just continued to attack, drive through gaps, and then throw in a three-pointer for good measure. There was a little bit of acrobatic flair as well, getting the friendly bounce. driving and scoring again, playing through contact. And here is the play of the game. Windmill and one. That about sums up the night for Elise Dieterle. 30 points, a career high. And White Bear Lake picks up a big win. With that, it's time to say farewell for now. We hope you join us again on Thursday. We'll be at Matamidi for high school boys basketball. The Zephyrs host the St. Thomas Academy Cadets, live at 7 o'clock on SCC Sports. Until then, for the rest of our crew, this is Mike Meaden, thanking you for watching live coverage of high school girls basketball on SCC Sports. We'll see you next time. White Bear Lake defeats Mounds 69-55.